get started with White Sox manager Tony La Russa. We got mics on both sides. Just raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. We'll start with Alana on the right.
Tony, congratulations for being here. Thanks for taking the time. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the actual division series, can you just express your opinion and respect you have for Dusty Baker on the other side? A pretty even matchup in terms of regular season, but a man that I know you've known for a long time. Thank you.
Well, walking over, my opinion changed. I mean, I have, as you know, I hate to say we were teammates because it means that I was a player like he was a player. He's a really good player. I was not. But we were teammates, as you know, in '86, and known him quite a bit over the years. The only problem we ever had is we're in the same division. So other than that, we've never had problems. I think he's the. I like to point out, sometimes if you manage and you're around for a while, it's because you're a bad player. And I always like to point out the really good players who are really outstanding managers. Dusty's one of them. Joe Torre and Mike Scioscia. I mean, it goes on and on. So the reason my opinion changed is because I'm older than he is, and our locker room is way down there. I'm going to have to walk a lot farther to this press room. I don't think that's fair. So I'll talk to Dusty about changing that. But he had an outstanding career as a player, championship experience, done the same as a manager. He does all the things that managers that you look for. He gets guys to play, they respect him, they like him. So, he knows I know. It's just between our two teams, so it should be an enjoyable competition as far as quality of the competition.
Scott on the right.
Tony, we just got the statement about. Oh, I'm sorry. We just got the statement about Jose. Can you talk a little bit about how he is improving and is going to join you guys?
Yeah, well, if you know, Sunday, he didn't play. He just didn't feel well. Looks like maybe catching a bit of the flu. Got to the workout yesterday, and he had a tough night with fever. And now we're all brimming with happiness and excitement because the fever broke. He passed the test, which is mandatory. He'll be flying back to here tonight, and then see what his strength level is for tomorrow. But, our worst fears were never realized, and he'll be back in uniform.
James in the middle.
Just knowing him, how hard do you think he's going to push to play tomorrow? I guess regardless of how he feels.
The perfect question if you know him. And, we got track of it at the workout yesterday. We were all worried about it because he had fever. And then we flew in last night, and then we found out that, he had fever had eased, and then he was feeling better. And then we were waiting for the results of the test. So we've had several discussions in the clubhouse about how stubborn he's going to be about admitting how he feels tomorrow for the game tomorrow. So we just put his hand on the baseball Bible and see. But I think for certain, if he's not in there tomorrow, he'd be in there Friday.
In the middle on your left.
Hey, Tony, do you have a starter for game one tomorrow? Yeah. And then after that, Carlos Rodon, how's he doing today?
Yeah, we decided, and believe me, it wasn't game plan or anything. We just wanted to wait and have as much information as possible. So we're going to announce the first two guys as Lance and then Gio. And then game three to be determined. We just had enough experience in these things that you need to see how the first two games go. And then see what you do on win. And not whether wins or losses, just mostly who's available, who you used. The candidates. Dylan would definitely be a candidate. We're still waiting to see Carlos's availability. So, anyway, it'll be Lance tomorrow and Lucas on Friday.
In the middle on your right.
Tony, can you talk about your first year back in a major league dugout in 10 years? And are there any perceptible differences in managing in 2021 as managing in 2011 and before then?
I remember when the announcement was first made, And I think there were a lot of legitimate questions, but the one that really didn't make sense was I had been away from the game because of my time with MLB and then Boston and Arizona and last year with the Angels. I've been in the game every year, so I had a chance to observe the 20s versus 11 when I left. A lot of the game is the same. You make pitches, you get outs, have good swings, you put the ball in play. I think there have been some trends that there are different opinions about, like it's okay to swing, try to hit a home run every swing, every time up there, no matter if you strike out more and you get hits. I have a different opinion, so do some others. There is a place for the whole game, meaning sometimes you just got to put 3 singles together to get a run against a really tough pitcher. You got to play defense. Stolen base has a place, the bunt once in a while. But I do think probably the biggest one has been, and this is one that I never had any problem with because, as I mentioned, this really crappy career, which extended into my managing because players all had my bubblegum card because I could never talk about, how I hit or fielded. So we always were information seekers, whether it was me personally or our whole coaching staff. We did it every year, all the time. Couldn't get enough information. And so there's a lot of it out there now. There's a lot of really good stuff. There's a lot of really good information that helps you prepare, gives you an expectation for the game. Problem is, where do you draw the line of the preparation from what you actually see during the game? And I'm fortunate because in this organization, the White Sox really believe you need the information providers need to respect the guys who are coaching and making game time decisions, and vice versa. So, some places that's they're a slave to the percentages, and maybe they're right, but in the end, there's a guy pitching, there's a guy hitting, there's a score, 2 teams. It's really a simple team with the most runs wins. So you really pitch and defend. The better you pitch and defend, the less you have to score. So I think there are definite differences, but the heart of the game is the same. Guys that compete, and they're amazing athletes. They do amazing things.
Lamont on the right.
Hey, Tony, just what did you like about Lance and giving him the ball for game 1?
I'm sorry, again.
Lance in game 1, just what was the thought process for giving him the ball in
Thought
game
process?
1? Yes.
Well, I'll start with what I just said. The better you pitch and defend, the less you have to score. That's a real challenge because they have an outstanding lineup. But we don't really concede that because we think we have an outstanding lineup. I think that's one of the in common parts about our teams. There's depth. We're gonna each have a chance to score every inning. So you really got to pitch, and you can't afford to make mistakes on defense. So first priority is to get some outs, not let them score as much, and then use our offensive talent to break through as often as we can.
Tony on your left side, towards the middle, and then we'll go to Paul on the right.
So, Tony, now that you're here, are you nervous? Do you feel that, that 10-year time period, does it feel like yesterday that you did this? Where do you stand on that?
That's a better question than most people would think because for years, I can remember when back in coaching with Jim Leland and I was managing, and we would ask ourselves every day, for spring training, are you nervous? And if the answer was no, it meant we didn't care. So I've been nervous my whole career. One of the reasons, first game of spring training, first game opening day, like right now, I'm nervous because I care. We care. And you translate that nervousness into paying attention to getting ready to do your job. Sound like Bill Belichick, just do your job. I'm going to try to do my job. But, yeah, nervous. I remember there was we all got a kick out of it. We all really have great respect for Ron Washington. And there was a press conference before, May 4 Game 7, and And they had asked me first, and I said I was nervous. And he said, well, if he's nervous, then I got to be nervous, you know what I mean, because I had more experience. So you're not nervous, do something else for a living, because there's no script for what's going to happen tomorrow and who's going to win the first 3 games before they lose 3. So nervous, I like it.
Paul in the middle.
Kind of a two-parter. Have you made a decision on Dallas as far as can he pitch out of the pen, or even start if you need that? And also, do you have a philosophy on in the playoffs on short rest, pitchers with short rest, either pro or con?
Yeah, the second one's easier to answer. The first one is, we're still discussing the roster. I mean, it's just really there's actually 26 instead of 25. But that's really the last 2 spots are really critical, and you need a crystal ball, which you don't have. So, not making any comment about that roster till we submit it. I know that short rest pitchers for a while there were being frowned upon because they didn't do so well. There's also a lot of history with the short rest pitchers if you get the right pitcher. And had a classic example that's historic, actually. Chris Carpenter pitched the second game of the division series with 3 days rest after pitching the last day of the season. He gave up 4 runs the first 2 innings, pitched 3 innings, got him out. Ended up pitching Game 7 of the World Series in 3 days rest. And I can remember on the plane flying out after we came back to win that game, I was sitting around Dunk, and he said, I finally listened to what Dunk said, which is, don't think that you're not going to have your best stuff and try to go for more. Pitch with what you got. And if you remember, he pitched into the 7th inning, Game 7. So what's my opinion? If you got a guy that has pitches and competes, and that's your best option, he can win. Which means the first game pitcher can pitch Game 4 for either side.
Take 2 more before Tim comes in, both on the left side.
Tony, you've been to the postseason so many times. What is it about this group that you feel like is ready for this moment? There's been so much buzz around the White Sox for a while, but it all counts now here in October.
Well, I'm glad you said the buzz for a while, because to me, one of the concerns walking into that situation, their success, and you just look at the talent, and there were a lot of believers that the team was going to contend, and then the front office makes a trade for Lance and signs Liam, and there were even places that they thought we were the favorites. Well, I've been around long enough to know that those expectations sometimes work against teams and didn't work against us. So those guys, they like to practice, they like to compete, we have talent, and we're here. So, we're younger in a lot of places than the Astros. Well, they were young once, and they did really well when they first started, so we can do the same. But we have a talented team that likes to practice, likes to compete, and it's really simple. You just give it our best shot. You just don't want to regret not giving your best shot, and then you see who wins.
One last one on the left.
Does this thing work? Okay.
So I misplayed that. I misplayed that a lot in my career. It's not funny.
Someone was talking about nervousness for you. What about excitement? I mean, you stepped into a situation a decade later where the team was certainly built to win, but that doesn't guarantee anything. And now you're here, and I would imagine the main reason that you did come back is for October, to chase another ring. So for you personally, what's the excitement level like here as you get started?
Well, I don't divide myself from the team as far as excitement level. I became part of the team, and they were excited because they felt they were contenders, and we've gotten this far. Nerves and excitement those are good. If you try, it's the old expression, if you're too cool for school, you want to sit back, well, you're never going to get this far. So the thing that you that they're going to see for those, they had a taste of it last year. The postseason is the most exciting thing you can do. The hardest thing you can do is 6 months of the schedule. In fact, that's one of my pet peeves. You know, the team that gets beat, like even the Yankees yesterday and whoever happens tonight, or the division losers. And to many people, well, you didn't win that first round, and that means something less about what you get. It's really hard to win a division. I mean, I got to Boston in 18. They had lost, 2 or 3 years when they had first won the championship, and they lost in the first round. And they were just beat up, and then they finally won it all. So there's an excitement, because after tonight there'll be 8 teams. I'm not lecturing, I'm just telling you what I believe. There are 8 teams going to be left. Any one of those 8 teams is good enough to win the World Series. It's a short series, and that's the fun. That's the excitement. And you can put it all on the line every day, which is hard to do for 6 months. You got to really pace yourself in places. So, I mean, you can ask any manager, any coach, and players with experience. This is fun. This is exciting. Let's take our shot.
Thanks a lot, Tony. We'll bring Tim in. Good luck tomorrow.